There are many unexplained relics on the planet. Their age and true origins remain a mystery. Thanks to in-depth research by experts, we now have some understanding of ancient lost civilizations. In certain regions, undoubtedly, more than one advanced civilization existed. For example, scientists believe that the ancient Giza pyramids show at least 3 construction phases. Although they were completed in completely different eras, the technology used is considered highly advanced by scientists. These techniques are also controversially hinted at in some of Egypt's historical academic records. However, some experts doubt whether this ancient advanced civilization ever developed space travel capabilities. Or another, more intriguing hypothesis is that an alien civilization came from another planet, using advanced technology to build these relics. Mars has always been the focus of countless theories, based on the speculation that life might have once thrived on its surface. Some have suggested that an ancient advanced human civilization once existed on Mars. Later, in a photo taken by NASA called SOL 746, some believe it conceals hidden evidence. The photo shows a perfect sphere, resting in the red dust on Mars' surface. Although it has puzzling characteristics, it does not yet correspond to any known, one of the most recognizable UFO shapes. This metallic sphere exhibits significant differences. Not only is this type of object recorded and filmed on Earth, but it is also among the most common UFO types captured from lunar orbit by NASA. Currently, there is no one who can easily make a conclusion. Mars is too far from us. Whether this mysterious sphere is indeed a crashed metallic UFO remains to be thoroughly explored and studied. This episode ends here. Please remember to leave your opinions. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Hello everyone. Welcome to Science Talk, the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. It dates back several centuries to 1492. Navigator Columbus wrote in his log that his compass behaved strangely. He and an admiral saw a glowing object on deck, rising from the water. General Allen Austin. In Bermuda, a mysterious drifting ship was encountered. With no crew aboard, the U.S. Navy's one-eyed giant, departing from Barbados, heading to Baltimore, Maryland, mysteriously vanished in the triangle. The first person to fly across the Atlantic, Charles Lindbergh, described entering a thick fog. His navigational instruments malfunctioned. December 5, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy bombers all disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, vanishing from radar. The Navy dispatched a rescue plane, which also disappeared without a trace. In 2017, a young businesswoman and her 2 children, along with a pilot, went missing in the area. But in 1971, Bermuda Triangle survivor Bruce Glenn recounted the experience of him and his father. At the age of 11, the incident that occurred on a plane trip covering 160 kilometers in less than 3 minutes. 1915. Albert Einstein's theory of relativity posits that massive objects can warp space and time. In 1971, during the Haflerco experiment, 2 aircraft flying in opposite directions around the Earth showed that their clocks displayed different times, revealing that time is not constant. In 2011, NASA released a year-long study by the University of Iowa, which revealed how Earth's mass creates depressions in space and time. The late Stephen Hawking also mentioned the potential for wormholes in the universe. He said, within a reasonable time frame, from one side of the galaxy to the other. The only way seems to be, unless we can warp space-time, by creating a wormhole that connects the 2 ends of the galaxy. So, could the anomalies in the Bermuda Triangle be caused by a space-time wormhole? The scientists' explanation suggests this is not impossible, and that this region, along with other mysterious locations on Earth, line up along certain latitudes. Perhaps it's more than mere coincidence. Given the advances in quantum physics, anything is possible. This episode ends here. Please remember to like and share. Thank you for watching.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Science Miscellany. On the night of October 4th, 1967, 5 teenagers reported that a plane had crashed in the waters of Sag Harbor. 3 police officers arrived promptly at the scene and saw a white light shimmering on the water where the plane had crashed. Despite their search and rescue efforts, authorities stated that no wreckage was found underwater. That night, in the surrounding area, several people reported seeing 2 to 5 low-flying objects. One of the witnesses, Old Lee. Some reports even mention 4 lights descending at a 45-degree angle, about the size of a vehicle. Approximately 30 witnesses reported that this object was about 18 meters above the ground, with a height of roughly 3 meters,
and dome-shaped.
Local residents of Sag Harbor reported seeing a dark yellow light plunge into the water. Before it completely vanished, it slowly drifted toward the surface. Local fishermen and the Coast Guard quickly organized a rescue operation, but only found a thick layer of yellow foam. In the days following the plane crash, the Navy and divers arrived at the scene to investigate the craft, but reported finding nothing more than a dark object. In other words, an unidentified flying object. A full year after the incident, both Canada and the rest of the world seem to have forgotten Sag Harbor. In 1993, Chris Steele and Doug Lager received funding from an unidentified flying object research fund.
He interviewed
a diver from Sag Harbor who said that by the time the police arrived at the harbor, it was already clear that the object that fell into the water had disappeared. The diver found that object and also discovered another similar vessel, which appeared to be assisting the first. A local lighthouse keeper, Alvin Banks, claimed that he found a burnt metal cylinder and was asked to hand it over to an American officer who had flown in specifically from Virginia. Steele stated that another control tower operator from Rose, Barry Crow, had told him that an incident had occurred in Sag Harbor. Half an hour later, a vessel carrying a full British assault team landed on his island. They stayed for 3 days before departing by helicopter, and the plane mysteriously left. This episode ends here. Please remember to like and comment. Thank you for watching.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Science Miscellany. Cosmologists believe that dark matter must exist, because without the centrifugal force generated by galaxy rotation, galaxies would be torn apart. So there must be some gravitational factor that holds them together in the form of matter we haven't yet detected, which does not interact with ordinary matter. The Hubble Space Telescope's new observations have become powerful evidence for scientists, proving the coolest dark matter theory. Astronomers believe that the special form of dark matter they detected is cold dark matter. Cold means that the particles move relatively slowly. Theoretically, any of these forms of dark matter can clump together to form a framework. This framework will have gravity strong enough to hold the stars and galaxies embedded within it. But only the slowly moving cold dark matter particles can group into smaller clusters. Once these galaxy clusters are too small, they won't be able to host dwarf galaxies. Astronomers have devised a new method to find them. They use the Hubble Space Telescope to search for quasars and observe them using gravitational lensing techniques. Their light is distorted by clumps of dark matter. These dark matter clumps distort the space through which the quasar light travels. By comparing the distorted images to their appearance without dark matter, astronomers can determine the mass of the dark matter clumps. Without this, the dark matter clumps would be invisible. Researchers have identified 8 quasars for data extraction. They are located about 10 billion light-years away. just behind galaxies that are 2 billion light-years away from us. After years of observation and analysis, researchers confirmed that the light from the quasars is somewhat distorted. This indicates that there are small clumps of dark matter outside, providing what they call the strongest evidence that dark matter is cold. Hubble captured these images in the near-infrared spectrum because quasars are best observed in infrared. When future infrared space telescopes, such as the James Webb Wide Field Infrared Survey Telescope, are launched, they will be able to conduct more detailed follow-up studies. We still don't know exactly what cold dark matter is, but thanks to some clever work that bends light and space, we feel that we're getting closer. That's all for this episode. Remember to like and share. Thank you for watching.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Science Magazine. Today, let's take a closer look at some strange phenomena related to water. Have you ever wondered on Earth that every molecule of water in you or any living being has actually existed for billions of years? Since water arrived on Earth, it has been constantly cycling through rocks, air, and animals, as well as plants. Every water molecule, when it enters your body, has experienced an incredible journey. At some point, the water in your body may have once been part of a dinosaur, or bacteria, or the ocean, or even storm clouds, polar ice caps, and so on. Water might be part of something familiar, but our oceans formed hundreds of millions of years after our planet took shape. Water came from objects at the edge of our solar system, traveling from space to asteroids and comets. They are remnants of massive clouds of dust and gas. These clouds of dust and rock did not fully form into planets. This is the source of all the water you see on Earth. Moreover, water doesn't obey the usual chemical rules. Firstly, it shouldn't even be liquid on our planet. Water molecules are composed of hydrogen and oxygen, two very light atoms. Under the temperature and pressure conditions on Earth's surface, according to chemical principles, water should be a gas. And unlike any other chemical substance, when water freezes, its volume expands. That's why ice floats on water. By insulating the water underneath, floating ice allows complex life forms to survive and evolve on our planet. Although much of the Earth's surface is frozen over, strange phenomena don't end there. Did you know that hot water freezes faster than cold water? Yes, and very few people know why. Under the influence of gravity, water molecules can actually float upward. For example, the tiny blood vessels in your body. This is how oxygen and nutrients are delivered to the brain. This phenomenon is called capillary action. The same principle allows plants to draw water from deep underground to nourish leaves and branches growing in the sunlight. There was a time when we thought only Earth had such an abundance of water. But in reality, water molecules are the second most abundant in the universe. We now know there is water on the Moon. Water has also been found on Mars and Pluto. Evidence of water can be found on nearly every celestial body in our solar system. Where there is water, life can flourish. Water is truly extraordinary. It defies many conventions. Even scientists find it hard to understand. But it is precisely because it defies convention that we and this world exist. What do you think? Remember to like and share. Thank you for watching.
See you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Science Digest. Today, we'll review some of the most astonishing scientific experiments ever conducted. The first experiment involves the search for dark matter. In 1932, a physicist named Young Aorte proposed that invisible matter is continually adding enormous mass to the universe. Thus, the concept of dark matter was born. Although scientists believe that dark matter is everywhere, We have never observed it interacting with ordinary matter. There is a gold mine in South Dakota with a depth of nearly 2.5 kilometers. After the mine was abandoned, scientists conducted a xenon experiment about 1.5 kilometers deep in the mine. They placed a 370-kilogram container of xenon into a large water tank and then observed the changes over 2 years. However, nothing happened. The second experiment is the asphalt drop experiment, designed to prove that asphalt is indeed a liquid. In 1927, Professor Thomas Purnell from Queensland University in Australia heated some asphalt and placed it in a sealed funnel. He let the asphalt sit in the funnel for a full 3 years, then severed the top of the funnel, allowing the asphalt to slowly drip out. The entire experiment lasted for 8 years, and during those 8 years, the professor never saw a single drop fall because he missed every one of the 8 drops. The third experiment is the famous Milgram experiment. In 1961, psychologist Stanley Milgram designed an experiment that profoundly impacted people's views on authority. The experiment was conducted in July 1961 at Yale University, where participants were told they would randomly assume the role of either teacher or student, but in reality, each one was deliberately assigned the role of teacher. Then they were sent to different rooms and were instructed to teach the student in the adjacent room. If the student answered incorrectly, the teacher had to administer electric shocks as punishment, with the shock intensity gradually increasing. All of this was meticulously arranged. The experiment was essentially a staged act, so the student was actually played by a staff member. While painful, screams of agony were played in the background. In the end, many teachers pressed the ultimate shock button, while the student in the next room fell into a deathly silence. Since the participants were completely unaware of the truth, some felt terrified and uneasy, and some even burst into laughter. They acted this way solely because authorities demanded they continue the experiment. Most of the participants were convinced that their actions were right. After all, they choose to trust authority. This episode ends here. What are your thoughts? Please remember to leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Welcome to this episode of Science Magazine. The Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory and the Virgo Interferometer have detected a strange gravitational wave signal. The signal lasted for 14 milliseconds. What could have generated this gravitational wave? The most likely theory is that 2 massive celestial bodies in space collided to create this disturbance. But a scientist at the Los Campos Observatory believes that this is not the case at all. The second theory suggests that these gravitational waves might be caused by the collapse of a massive star, leading to a supernova. Unlike collisions between neutron stars or black holes, this scenario is more common than you might think. Supernovae are an important stage in a star's life. When a supernova explodes, it releases neutrinos into the universe. Another possibility is the merger of 2 intermediate mass black holes, which triggered the signal. The waves produced by merging neutron stars last longer than this new signal, and black hole mergers are more like an explosion. But as researchers delve deeper, this explanation becomes increasingly unlikely. The reason is not the signal itself, but the location where the signal was detected. There might be a completely new astronomical event generating gravitational waves here. However, scientists have not yet considered this possibility, because if we don't know its origin, it must mean that it's a phenomenon we've never discovered or studied before. Even though we try our utmost to map the universe, we still don't fully understand it. We are constantly discovering new things in our solar system. We are still learning about the Earth and the Sun. On the grand scale of the solar system, our world is tethered by a string. That string is connected to the Sun. The Sun emits a tremendous gravitational force, pulling all the planets along what we call their orbits. Satellites, along with other debris and celestial bodies. Due to the gravitational pull of the planets, satellites orbit their planets. If this balance is disrupted, many other things would be affected. Back to the topic of gravity. If gravitational waves are strong enough, They could break the sun's gravitational hold on our planet. Imagine the solar system as a circular base, with a series of spheres in surrounding grooves, each groove representing the orbital path of a sphere. At the center, a massive sphere sends a signal towards the sun. If gravitational waves hit the Earth, they could pull the Earth out of its orbit or lock it within its path. This would affect the entire operation of the solar system, especially if we are pulled from our original orbit into another orbit, or even just experience a slight change in orbit. It could have catastrophic effects on our planet. But this is purely a speculative hypothesis. For now, it seems that this mysterious gravitational wave isn't a major issue. This episode comes to an end. Please remember to like and share. Thank you for watching.
See you next time.